Good evening. Welcome to Government Oversight. I am Chairperson, Councilwoman Purvis. I am joined virtually by my co-chair, Councilman Pietratini. We have in the chambers today Councilman Leninger, Councilman Reno Weber, Councilman Kramer, Councilman Joseph, Councilwoman Bass, and Councilwoman Paula McCraney. Um, do not have, oh, okay, no. Okay, so right now we're going to read the disclaimer.
This meeting is being held pursuant to KRS 61.826 and Council Rule 5A, read in full.
Thank you, sir. Uh, Today we have some appointments. Ms. Jackson, if you'd like to go ahead and proceed.
Althea Jackson, Mayor Greenberg's office. Let me go ahead with the first one.
First, we have, yes, I'm new to this committee as a chairperson, so please forgive me. First, we will have the reappointment of John Chris Wantland to the Code Enforcement Board. Ms. Jackson, you're here to talk about this appointment.
Okay, this appointment, ready? So this reappointment is for the Code Enforcement Board. And just a little background about the Code Enforcement Board. The Code Enforcement Board has jurisdiction to issue remedial orders and impose civil fines as a method of enforcing a local government ordinance when a violation of that ordinance has been classified as a civil offense. And that's in accordance to that section. This board has 5 members on it. And those members served a 3-year term. We are asking for the approval to have Mr. John Chris Wantland reappointed. He is out of Metro Council District 8, white male Democrat. He works with the Goldberg Simpson as a service center manager. He was originally appointed in 2022. He is a former deputy sheriff. He retired from there in 2010. He's also worked as a military police commander and captain. He is on the call tonight, and he will continue to tell you a little bit more about his background.
Great. Mr. Wantland, would you like to share any information with us?
Yes, ma'am. As Ms. Jackson stated, I've served 1 term on the board already. It's been a great experience. I've seen a lot, I've heard a lot, and I've learned a lot. As Mr. Henderson and Mr. Price can contest, my basic philosophy is I tell litigants there and appellants that I'm not here to take your money. I'm here to get your compliance. But if I can't get your compliance, I have no choice but to take your money. And I've seen a lot of resolution happen. We've had some good cases, and we've still got some ongoing bad cases that we're still trying to work with.
Thank you. Looks like you have some great experience with making sure that collections are proper, as I saw that you were a subrogation analyst with Rollins and Associates. So I'm sure that was a challenge right there. So I don't have any questions. I want to say thank you. And welcome, and thank you for signing up again for another term.
Glad to do it.
Does anyone have any questions? If there aren't any questions regarding Mr. Wantland, this calls for a voice vote. All those in favor, say aye. 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 All those opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Mr. Wantland.
Thank you, folks. You have a great evening.
Our next reappointment is Pamela Watto to the Code Enforcement Board. Ms. Jackson.
So we are asking for the reappointment of Ms. Pamela Watt.
Excuse me. I need a motion. Thank you.
We are asking for the reappointment of Pam Waddle. Ms. Waddle is out of Metro Council District 14, white female Republican. She is a program manager with Vista Innovative Solutions, and this is for the U.S. Army HR Command. She was originally appointed last year, 2024, to fill a vacancy. Pam has worked as a project manager with various with a variety of organizations. She is a leader with experience with problem solving, decision making, and conflict resolution. She has enjoyed working, volunteering on this board and wants to be reappointed again. She is on the call tonight.
Thank you for being here, Ms. Waddle. Is there anything you'd like to share with us this evening?
Thank you. Yeah, I will agree with Chris Wantland that I've learned a lot in this first year. So it's been very interesting. I know David Perlman and Aaron Cole have definitely contributed in helping to bring me up to speed on the different regulations and ordinances and everything in the process. So still learning. I have a lot to do to catch up with them, but I feel like I've learned a lot this past year and want to continue to serve on this board. I do think that my background, again, with the working as a program manager and having to enforce governance and different thing with security and making sure the data and so forth is secure, helps with making sure that the regulations and everything are enforced. But I also know as a real estate investor, sometimes things play a role like weather and different things. So I like being in a position where I can kind of understand, sometimes that there's different things and obstacles that come up that, interfere with compliance when you want to be compliant. So seeing that and understand that and given an opportunity, again, seeking compliance, I want to continue to serve in this. I think it's a very worthwhile cause, and I really enjoy the efforts that take place there.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for Ms. Waddle? Okay, all those in favor, please say aye.
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 Anyone opposed?
Aye.
The ayes have it. Thank you, Ms. Waddle.
Yeah.
I'd like to acknowledge this time that we've also been joined by Councilwoman Hawkins. Our next appointment is Christopher Burkle. I need a motion. Thank you. Ms. Jackson.
So MSD, the purpose of MSD is to provide adequate sewer and drainage facilities. There are 8 members on this board. They serve a 3-year term. Mr. Christopher Burkle is out of Metro Council District number 9, white male Republican. He is the owner of Club Management Group of Louisville. He has his MBA from IU. He is a longtime community member that wants to volunteer his time. Although he's not a subject matter expert, but he has extensive management experience. He has experience with complicated projects, and most of all, he's willing to serve. He is here in the chambers tonight just to introduce himself to you. Mr. Buckle.
Thank you. My name's Chris Burkle. I appreciate being considered for this and honored. I not only went to IU for graduate school, but I'm a Louisville native, been here my whole life. I went to Trinity High School and University of Louisville. And my business background in the 80s and 90s, I worked at PNC Bank in commercial lending. I also then got in the in the 80s, I bought several businesses and have been a business owner for 40, 50 years, and have learned a lot and sold a few of the businesses. We still have some going. I'm married, been married for 40 years to my wife. I have 3 grown children. I'm interested in serving on the MSD board just to kind of give back to the community. I'm a little bit older, retired to some degree, and just really want to try to be helpful. And MSD seemed like a really important part of our city. So I'm open to any questions you may have. Thank you.
Well, thank you. It looks like you've been working very hard all of your life, and you still have a full head of hair. So
It's gray, though.
that's all right. But thank you for volunteering your time. I'm sure that even though you say you're old, I will say that you're wise. So I'm sure that you can help them out over there. Does anyone have any
Learned
questions?
from a lot of mistakes.
Right. Does anyone have any questions?
Yes, Madam
Oh.
Chairman, Q.
Yes, sir.
Can you hear me okay in chambers?
Yes, sir.
Yes, okay, so Mr. Burkle, really just to say at this point, appreciate your service, appreciate you joining, maybe more of a statement. I think we need very close supervision of what's going on at MSD. The state auditor is working on an audit right now, which was initiated by my colleague, Councilman Reed, or at least at his request, and we need to take a very deep look at what's going on there. So I would just advocate that you and your board members appreciate this service to our community, that this is a very, very critical board, both for our infrastructure, but also related to the increase in costs to our constituents. And this has been an increasing issue around the community. So I just ask as you join the board, and I'm voting for you today, to make sure you really hold the leadership of MSD accountable. I really appreciate you. Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, and I appreciate that.
Thank you, Councilman Piagentini. Any other comments or questions? All those in, oh, yes, sir.
Yeah, and not saying that this is, make or break, but just out of curiosity, because there's a lot of capital projects coming through MSD in the next long period of years. Do you have any experience in managing a capital expansion project or anything in your life and private business?
Well, we've done a lot of projects, from constructing a 50-meter swim pool at Blairwood, which was pretty involved, and, just owning the properties we owned and the clubs. We've, not to the scale of an MSD, 100+ million project, but I've done a lot of projects and, have a background in finance and running actually, we took over several businesses that were near bankruptcy and made them profitable. And so, I hope that answers the question. Yeah.
Well, I'm pretty comfortable in knowing that you probably have an excellent budget background. So I'm sure that your experience will be helpful to them over there.
I sure hope.
Thank you. Okay, all those in favor, let's take a vote. All those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next appointment is Dr. Rick Blackwell to the Riverport Authority Board. Need a motion? Ms. Jackson.
So the purpose of Riverport Authority is to establish, maintain, operate, and expand necessary and proper riverport and river navigation facilities, and to acquire and develop property within the economic environs of the Riverport area to attract river-oriented industry. There are 6 members on this board. All are appointed by the mayor. Appointments serve a 3-year term. Dr. Rick Blackwell is filling a vacancy that was vacated by Jamal Bowman. Dr. Blackwell is out of Metro Council District 12, white, male Democrat. You all know him. I don't have to go on. He's here to answer any questions that you guys have.
Dr. Blackwell, would you like to speak?
Sure. Thank you for the consideration. A couple of things. So those of you who know me well know that one of the things that I pushed for years was for folks in our districts to step up and volunteer to work in our boards and commissions. And so yet another opportunity for me to practice what I preach. And then second, with respect to Riverport Authority, early on, I had asked for, we were struggling at one point with trying to make sure that we had South End people on Riverport Authority, and so I tried to get on the Riverport Authority as a council person, and then actually had a legal opinion that said, yeah, you can't do that. So now I can, or at least I can be considered. And so I appreciate that. The three things I think they're working on, some things that I think I bring specific knowledge to. They're working on a master plan, and both in my work at schools and in nonprofits, I've worked on a number of those. So working on a strategic plan, which I also have both worked with and led, and then community outreach, which I've done a little bit of over the years. So I'd appreciate your consideration.
Good. Does anyone have any questions for Dr. Blackwell? No? Okay. Thank you. All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Our next appointee is Mayor Brent Hagan to the Tree Advisory Committee. I need a motion.
Motion to approve?
Thank you. Ms. Jackson?
So the purpose of this committee is to advise on issues affecting Louisville Metro's protection of trees and appropriate levels of the tree canopy. That's pretty much the bottom line. There are up to 15 members on this committee. The members serve a 3-year term. This board has a lot of prescribed seats, and what we are putting before you today are prescribed seats. The first one is for Mayor Brent Hagan. He is representing the Jefferson County Leagues of City. He would be their representative. He is here today to introduce himself to you. I won't go in to details about him. He is here in chambers.
Hello, folks. Again, Brent Hagan. Just appreciate your consideration. I love trees. You have any questions?
I do not. Do you guys have any questions? Councilwoman McCraney?
I don't have a question, but I do know Mayor Hagan quite a bit, and we work together real well in District 7. He represents the Linden area very well. They have beautiful trees.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for being here today.
Thank you.
Mayor, are you doing all that work on your own, pruning and trimming the trees?
Actually, yes, quite a bit of it.
Oh, wow. I'm impressed.
I mow grass. I plowed snow. I spent 90 hours in our last snowstorm in a plow truck. Well, I'm a
I
working
didn't know
mayor.
about
so-
you. Can I get your number?
I do have a card, yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we're ready to take a vote. All of those in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? The ayes have it. Welcome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Our next appointee is Cindy Fowler to the Tree Advisory Committee. I need a motion. Thank you. Ms. Jackson?
So, of course, Ms. Fowler is a former council member, and she was actually a representative on the Tree Advisory Committee for Metro Council, which is why we wanted for her to continue with her service on that committee for continuity's sake. She's very familiar with that committee. She's in chambers, and she can answer any questions that you may have.
Thank you. Hi.
Good to see you all.
Good to see you.
I appreciate being considered for this appointment, and I'm a tree hugger from way back. I've enjoyed serving on the Tree Advisory Committee, and I worked very closely with Councilman Bill Hollander when the tree ordinance was written, and there's going to be some changes coming to that, so I'm looking forward to seeing some of those needed changes.
Good.
So.
Good experience. So I'm sure that'll be a big help to them.
Yep.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions? Okay. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Our next appointee is Lori Rafferty to the Tree Advisory Committee. I need a motion.
Second.
Thank you.
So Lori Rafferty is filling the prescribed seat for the Public Utility for Underground Facilities. Ms. Rafferty is an Assistant Director for the Stormwater Services with MSD. She has her Master's of Engineering. She manages the Separate Storm Sewer System program. She is on the call tonight, and she can answer any questions that you may have about her seat on this board.
Hello, Ms. Rafferty. Can you hear
Hello.
me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am. Would you like to share any information with us?
Sure. I am a civil engineer. I have been at MSD for about 20 years. So I'm very familiar with our utility. I work in the development group. I am responsible for their water quality program and the floodplain program. So I have a lot of interest in trees and keeping our trees, and because they help with floodplain and water quality. So yeah, I love trees too, I guess. I go what other people say.
Thank you. Does anyone have any questions for her? Okay. Let's go ahead and take a vote. All those in favor of her say aye.
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 Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you, Ms. Rafferty.
Thank you.
Our next and last appointee is Dion Templeton to the Affordable Housing Trust Fund. Ms. Jackson.
Okay.
I'd like to take a motion. Okay, thank you all for being here. This meeting has been adjourned. Thank you.
Make a motion to adjourn.